Thanks very much for that, Jeff. And Kurt, good morning, everyone. In the news, the fate of the man accused of killing 8-year-old Tori Stafford could be in the hands of the jury by this afternoon. The Crown wrapped up 2 days of closing arguments yesterday, alleging that Rafferty and girlfriend Terry Lynn McClintock kidnapped Tori outside of her school, then raped and murdered the girl back in 2009. Rafferty pled not guilty to the charges against him. The judge will begin delivering instructions to the jury this morning. The military is calling it a terrible mistake. A picture in a training manual for the Department of National Defense shows former Colonel Russell Williams, who is now a convicted murderer. The image appeared in a booklet that was issued last month and shows Williams sitting among other members of the armed forces. The photo was taken in 2010, just weeks before Williams killed Jessica Lloyd, one of his 2 murder victims. Defense Minister Peter MacKay says he will personally call the victims' families to apologize and vows all the copies will be destroyed. The RCMP is acknowledging that a former spokeswoman is filing a civil lawsuit against the force, and the force's brass say they will respond in a statement of defense to the allegations. Last year, Catherine Galliford made headlines with explosive accusations of widespread sexual harassment within the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The Conservatives are taking their crackdown on crime right to inside prison walls with new rules for people already behind bars. Inmates often earn a small wage for doing jobs, with some of that pay deducted to offset the cost of room and board. Public Safety Minister Vic Taves says he's increasing the clawback and eliminating incentive pay for work in prison shops. Inmates will also start paying for their own phone calls. One former prisoner says the move will negatively affect rehabilitation.
If you give them nothing, they're just going to go back on the streets and do what they were doing.
According to Taves, the changes will save Canadian taxpayers $10 million a year. At least 40 people are dead and nearly 200 hurt after twin bombs ripped through the Syrian capital. One of the rush-hour explosions hit the headquarters of a Syrian intelligence agency as many employees were arriving to work. The blasts caused major destruction, ripping the exterior off the building. UN observers in the region are strongly condemning this recent round of violence. The Syrian government is blaming terrorists for the attack. Japanese PlayStation maker Sony is drowning in red ink. Sony is reporting this morning that it chalked up a record annual loss of $5.7 billion for a 4th straight year. Sony's core TV business has been bashed in recent years by competition from South Korea's Samsung Electronics and other Asian rivals. And finally, a bet is a bet, and Ottawa's mayor has to live up to it. Jim Watson will fly to New York City today to deliver a special playoff-themed beaver tail to New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg. The mayors of the 2 cities placed a friendly bet ahead of the first-round playoff series between the Ottawa Senators and the New York Rangers. It called for an exchange of iconic pastries and bragging rights on each other's social media accounts. Sadly for us, the Sens lost to the Rangers in Game 7 by a score of 2-1.